So how many electrons are too many? I guess for me, that answer was 4. My original plan was to take the analog rhythm and pair it, actually thruple it with the digitone keys and the analog 4 Mark II to make this kind of Elektron Performance Rig. But I guess, actually I need to revise my answer. How many electrons are too many electrons? I guess for me, the real answer is 3, because when I had the analog rhythm over there, it was just way too much to keep track of. Really, the magic from the electron sequencers come from being hands-on with them, doing a lot of the parameter locks and things of that nature. They are really kind of attention whores, if you're going to be honest about it. And, they demand your attention. They require your attention to get the most out of them. And so having 3 of them all there, you tend to just kind of focus on the one that's closest to you at hand. And that's what I was finding. And then the other ones just wind up being sound boxes. So I found 3 electrons was too many, but what was, why I really wanted an electron paired with the matriarch here is, I had the rhythm next to it and I was using it as a makeshift sampler. And I find that that really worked well for me, right? The matriarch just sounds gorgeous. And sometimes I'll come across this riff or a patch, for me, they're kind of the same. I usually have a sound associated with a riff. And because it has no patch memory, you're just kind of stuck, right? Either you stay there or you just move on. So having a sampler that could at least capture that riff in time was really awesome for me. And I've built actually a couple tracks off that way already. And so I thought moving the rhythm over to my Elektron rig, having the Digitakt here would be even better because it's actually a sampling box. It's not a drum machine that kind of just doubles as a sampler. Once I had the Digitakt here and I played with it for a couple nights with the matriarch, it just wasn't that inspiring for me, honestly, right? I kept using it and wishing that it was the analog rhythm. So, and I think one of the reasons why that happened for me was because, my primary motivation for all these kind of setups I have are performance, right? They're all performance rigs. Obviously, you can perform with the Digitakt or the Digitone or the Octatrack, but they're almost more like DJ machines than performance, quote unquote, like playing machines. Obviously, any of the keys variations are different. And I think of the boxes, the analog rhythm really begs to be played. I know people complain about the pads being too hard, but I can still play rhythms on them. And then even if they're too hard, I think they're stiff to allow for velocity resistance in performance mode. So you can really kind of get some of those gradations in sound with the performance pads. And so of all the Elektron boxes, the analog rhythm is definitely the most performance oriented. And I was really missing that when the Digitakt was here, right? It just felt like I was programming it. The other thing about it is that the matriarch is just a gorgeous, beautiful sounding synth. And I think, Elektron has so many awesome qualities, right? They're just so functional. They allow you to just make music that maybe you wouldn't make if you didn't have them. But I don't think that top-notch sound quality is really the forte of the Elektrons. And I think like the Analog 4 is a great box, but it doesn't quite reach the same levels as the kind of the sequential synthesizers or the Moog synthesizers. And I'm sure, the Octatrack and the Digitakt are great samplers. The Digitone is a great FM synth. But, they don't kind of just make the eyes roll into the back of your head because they just sound so good, just the pure tonal quality of them. I think one of the main exceptions to that is the analog rhythm. It just sounds amazing. It sounds better than a Digitakt. I don't know if it's the analog engine, the filters, the distortion. I don't know. All I know is that when I got the rhythm going, there's a vibe and I'm feeling it, and I couldn't get that with the Digitakt. So yeah, so the entire time the Digitakt was here, I just kept wishing it was the rhythm. The rhythm wasn't really having a great time over there because it was just too complicated for my puny little brain. So long story short, Digitakt is gone. Rhythm is back where I think it belongs. There you have it. I'm sure the Digitakt is a great machine. If your primary use case is sampling, it's got the new slicing mode, which I didn't even bother to install because, like I said, I'm more about trying to perform it in the moment and not really about trying to slice and kind of re-sample and recreate, remix the materials, right? I kind of want to perform them in real time. The analog rhythm was much better for me in that regard. And so, yeah, so I've got my dream rig right here, the Matriarch and the Analog Rhythm Dream Team. Your mileage may vary. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you had the Digitakt 2? Have you tried to shoot it out against the Analog Rhythm, against the Octatrack? How did it go for you? I'm sure it's a great box. Want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember that the music we create is more powerful than the music we consume. So keep jamming.